Hip hip, hooray! No more international breaks until March, when we will see if Italy will qualify for the World Cup or miss out on a third consecutive one. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but the next international break, the next international break is an interesting one. These ones will forever be terrible, and I'm so happy that it's us for the next 3-4 months. No interruptions. Roma, Serie A, Europa League, and in a bit, Coppa Italia. So, yeah, guys, look, I'm back. I took a little week break because I had to recharge, because now we're not stopping anymore. So it's going to be a big rush. It's going to be a big push until March, and I'm very glad about it, don't get me wrong. But it's going to be a long one, and let me say that this is, not only in my opinion, the most entertaining part of the year, because it's the Christmas period. We're going to put a Christmas tree up. I'm going to say 1st of December until maybe mid-January. I'm going to put a little Christmas tree behind here. So we're entering into the Christmas period, of course. And not only is it very entertaining for this reason, but I must say, from now until March is the most important part of the season, I think, on every front. On the league front, on the Europe front, and on the domestic cup front. November to March is not only the longest now span of games, but it's the period which will say a lot about what we can achieve this season, where we will be at the end of the season. Because I think I've said this already, but if we were to be in this position by the end of the next international break, then April and May is title charge. Believe in it, push. But of course, it's a long period and everything can change. Everything can disalign in a good way, in a bad way. So this is the most crucial part of the season, the most delicate one as well. And we're starting off with Cremonese away, which I would actually argue that there were a few teams that I would have hated to face after an international break, and one of them is Cremonese away. This is a danger game for various reasons, which we're going to delve into in this match preview. I find 3 reasons as to why this game is a dangerous trap. Could be a dangerous trap. We can end up winning this game, don't get me wrong. In fact, there's probably a high chance that we are going to win this game. But it's not an easy game. It's a trap game. Various reasons for this. Number 1, Cremonese have been the surprise of the season up to now. Everyone, including me, were putting them in a relegation battle, in a relegation scrap at the beginning of the season. But Nicola did an incredible job. He got some heavy points against some heavy teams. And I'm not just looking at that first game week at San Siro, because, game week 1 is always full of surprises. But they managed to continue this path. And they brought it here at the end of the November break into the Christmas period, and they're currently sat 11th, something which I would have never even signed on a piece of paper that Cremonese could do this. So you need to give respect to them. You need to give respect to the job that their manager is pulling, and the players, the chemistry that they're building, and everything. That's the first reason. Second reason is we've had 2 breaks before this one this season. The game after each break, we lost. And it can be a coincidence, absolutely. But if it happens a third time, it's not a coincidence. After the September break, we got back, played Torino and lost. After the October break, came back, played Inter and lost. Now we're back from the November break, and we're back away from home to Cremonese. So again, it's always like, who plays? Who will cover most of that starting 11? Will it be players that stayed in Rome? Will it be players that came back from their national teams? And a lot of mixed opinions on that. And the third reason is because we've got a striker crisis. Yes, Ferguson is probably back, and I assume Ferguson will start. because if he doesn't start this game with Dybala, Bailey and Dovbyk injured, when are we going to see him? And I would actually argue that if we don't see him on Sunday, we better just end the loan in January. I will focus and zoom in on Ferguson whenever we speak, and I'll tell you my predicted 11. But Ferguson, long story short, it's now or never. Like, he either clicks between now and Christmas, or in January we send him back. I would argue the same with Bailey, but Bailey's injured for this game. I am with the idea that in January, in order to add, you need to clean. You can't add without cleaning. We don't have the financial means of doing that. So you need to selectively target who you've understood who are absolute scraps and add quality and replace them. So one is definitely Ferguson and the other one is Bailey. Bailey's a bit more complicated because of the modes of how we set up the loan. I don't think Villa will want him back. But as of now, both of them have been absolute pathetic. They've been pathetic, both of them. In terms of injuries and in terms of performances. We haven't seen much of them, but it's like we haven't seen much of them because they're always injured. So there is, they were very avoidable players to sign this summer. And I was a bit skeptical with Bailey at the beginning. With Ferguson, I was like, okay, it's a gamble. It's a gamble under all effects. With Bailey, I was skeptical because Bailey came from very bad seasons from Villa. So did Ferguson. But both of them were avoidable and unnecessary, in my opinion. But we'll see. Because if they don't click now, it's better to send them back ASAP. But anyways, let me know your thoughts for this game, your little opinions going into this game on Sunday. I invite you to hit the like button if you haven't already. We are back and we will not stop until March. So buckle up, big games on all three fronts. Hit the like, we're back going, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I want to speak about Cremonese just a second and then I'm going to move to us because the game after a break, I want to focus more on us than our opponents. As I said at the beginning, you need to give them respect. Jamie Vardy, scoring goals, how old is he? Like 40 years old. One thing with Cremonese is that at the very start of the season, they were better. They started very, 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 very big. And then they kind of faded a bit, but they aren't terrible. The only thing with Cremonese away is that I expect one of those dirty games decided by moments, which has been the characteristics of the majority of our games this season. But I just feel like it's one of those. This game reminds me of the Sassuolo game a few weeks ago. A game which, yes, you're better than them, but a game that you need to suffer in order to get 3 points. For various reasons. Because we're back from the break, but because Cremonese are physical. Baschirotto in defense, for instance, is double the size of 3 of our players if we were to start with Baldanzi as a false 9. They're an organized team. Nicola has always been a very compact manager who compacts his team around the defense. So, yeah, it's like, it won't be an easy one. It won't be. I don't see a high-scoring game. I see another 1-0 win if we do win. So my cluster results would be probably 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. I want to think that we're going to win. Why do I say this? Because this week of Serie A football, oh my days, Calcio is back. This weekend of Serie A football deserves a 52-hour sofa session from the first game to the last game. I cannot name you one boring game this weekend in the league. And it's not the fact that they're not boring. It's the fact that basically all games, if we do our job on Sunday, every single game we will get points from. Because Bologna go to Udinese. Not easy. Juventus play in Florence against the Fiorentina team who's never won a game this season in the league, who've changed manager, who are playing at home, who are coming from preparation to this game with an international break against the rivals of a century. I'm going to say now, Fiorentina's winning that game. Napoli play Atalanta at home. Inter have got the derby. Vabbè, Lazio, vaffanculo. Who cares about them? But you get the point. I cannot name you one boring game this season. This weekend deserves a hot chocolate and sofa session from 3 p.m. tomorrow to Monday 8:45 kickoff Sassuolo Pisa. No, probably not that one, but to the derby, to the Milan, from the Cagliari Genoa game tomorrow with De Rossi on the bench to the Milan derby. I'm telling you, it deserves a good lazy weekend with popcorn and hot chocolate. Not that the two are very combining, but you get the point. We're in the Christmas period. So yeah, this game means a lot because with the win, we would get points not on everyone, but on the majority of teams, because we've got so many direct clashes that if one team wins, the other lose points and you grab points on them. If they both draw, you grab points on both of them. If the other team wins, you grab you see, you get the point. But all of this said, we need to do a job. And with Roma, yes, this season we've been incredibly good, especially away, but it's always Roma, and you never know what Roma turns up after an international break. So caution with this game. Treat this game with chopsticks, not with a fork and a spoon and you go there and... No. Details, moments, set pieces. This is our game. The game that we've built the Ranieri legacy on. 1-0, get the job done, in, go back home, prepare the next game. Last thing with Cremonese, they're coming before the break from a defeat against Pisa, which, fair play to Pisa, but they gave Pisa their first win. Cremonese are falling down a bit, but they're an organized team, so careful. Moving on to us. Look, a lot of players are coming from the break. Well, not a lot, because Koné's coming from the break, but France played 2 useless games, and I believe he was suspended for the second one, so he came in way earlier than pre-scheduled, because he got a yellow card in the first game that he played, so he missed the game against Afghanistan. Azerbaijan. So he came back to Rome last week. The Italian boys came from an abysmal game. I'm going to share a few words on Italy in a second because I know a lot of you are interested. Can you share your thoughts? Yeah, I'll speak about Italy at the end. But the Italian boys are coming from the Italian team. Hang on, somebody's calling me. Oh my god. Hang on, how do I decline the call? Just ignore it. How do I decline the call? I hate when people call me because my phone is like... Hang on. Fuck off. I have a friend who calls. This friend who's calling me is one of those who would who would call you, and if you don't respond, he's gonna insist on calling you for the next 30 minutes. Just let this phone call die, because it's gonna take half an hour before this phone call dies, because this guy's got a problem. If you don't respond in the first 3 attempts, just quit. No, he insists. Hang on. Let it die. Okay. Oh, thank God. Hopefully he's not gonna call again. I'm gonna speak about Italy at the end. What was I saying? Yeah, the Italian boys came from the Italian game. And then who else? Who else is there? I can't really think of others. So yeah, I mean, a lot of players were coming from their duties, international duties, but it's like a lot of them either came early or played some pretty useless games in this pretty useless for majority of national teams. So, yeah, I mean, predicted 11 for me is this. Our offensive abilities on Sunday are going to be extremely cut off. Like, it's gonna be like it's one of those games where if our three up front don't click because they've barely ever played together, which is why I see another set piece game, another game that a defender decides, because that trio up front, okay, can be good, but they've never played together before. So it's like the chemistry isn't gonna be amazing. But my predicted 11 is that Mancini, Ndika, Hermoso, Celik and Wesley, Angelino so out, Cristante Kone, and then Sule, Pellegrini, and Ferguson up front. This is where I open the Ferguson bracket and just share a few words on him. This is his chance. No, not his chance, because he's had chances. This is his last call. Allow me to call this his last call. Because if he doesn't respond positively to this call, then for me it's like his time is now. Dovbyk is out for a month, so he's not gonna have a competition against him. If he doesn't use these moments correctly to click, in January he needs to go. Dybala's also injured for this game, so it's not even Dybala can play as a false nine because Dybala's not available. Am I supposed to think that we would rather play Baldanzi as a false nine than Ferguson up front? Well, it can happen. Baldanzi's coming from a very good 30 minutes against Udinese. But if our striker cannot start in a formation without Dovbyk, without Dybala, and the manager prefers to start Baldanzi, who is half the size of both the Cremonese defenders, as a false nine, then it's the definite explanation to me that Gasperini doesn't like Ferguson and that therefore we need to send him back. And people will go, is Ferguson fit? Ferguson has been out injured and Ferguson got injured because of an ankle issue in the Parma game. It's been a month. He was supposed to leave with Ireland and he stayed in Rome. So if he doesn't start, it's not because he's not fit. It's an ankle issue. An ankle issue fades away after a month, especially if he was ready to fly to Ireland before Troy Parrott became a national hero to help Ireland get to the playoffs. He was supposed to do that, which means he's not injured anymore. So if he doesn't start, the manager doesn't rate him. The manager doesn't want him, which is fine. But then it proves to you that it was completely unnecessary to go for him this summer. Okay? So that's my thought on the predicted 11. Approach on Sunday needs to be the similar approach that we've had for the past games. I've said before the break that we were improving in terms of intensity and finishing. I saw some slight improvements. It's worth pointing out that Gasperini teams reach their peak around February, March. So our peak is still not there. If the pattern continues to be like this and we do reach our peak in February and March, then it means that we're basically in December. We're getting there. So I don't expect falls in intensity. This is the time of the year where it's like a race towards getting to that peak momentum form. So I expect a high intensity Roma team, especially because we're coming from the break. So a lot of time that we've had to recover from fatigue and various things. Predictions, I'm not going to give because these post-international break games are always a hazard. That's my match preview for this game. Hopefully we win. And hopefully we go top of the league by ourselves. I've been wanting to say this ever since the league started. This is our chance to do it. If we win and Inter don't win in the derby, which I think is probable, I don't think Inter are going to lose, but I don't think Inter are going to win. I see a draw in the Milan derby. It's a very good draw. It's going to be a 1-1 draw. If one of the two needs to win, I'm going to pen with Inter. But I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in the derby. So if Inter don't win and we win, we are by ourselves top of the league, which would be great to see for our eyes. But yeah, let me read a few comments and then I'm going to end it, guys. Thoughts on the Italy draw? Tutto Calcio Pod says, ciao Simo, hi Tutto Calcio Pod. Thoughts on Italy draw? My thoughts on the Italy draw is that there is no easy game in football. There isn't an easy game in football. But at the same time, if you don't beat Northern Ireland at home and either or Bosnia and Wales, I know that Wales is away, which is harder, I ain't gonna lie, because there's a big sense of patriotism in those countries, whether it's Bosnia or Wales. But, you know, there needs to be a sense of revenge in these players. There needs to be a sense of spirit for the nation. We can't possibly miss out on a third consecutive World Cup. Seeing these ingredients, you know, if you don't go to the World Cup, you don't deserve to go. Like a few years ago, we lost to Macedonia, which was terrible. But if we had won that game, we had to play Portugal in Portugal to go to the World Cup. You know, that is a game that you can lose. Football is football. You can win games, you can lose games. And I'm not saying that we are going to win them and that we are automatically at the World Cup. No. But I am saying that if we don't qualify against these teams, then we simply don't deserve it. We don't. We don't. That's the truth. So the draw could have gone a bit better in the sense that we could have faced the second game at home, which would have been easier. Now you have to travel to heated atmospheres, but, you know, one game at a time. Northern Ireland at home needs to be a win, and hopefully we go to the US, Mexico, and Canada. But yeah, I mean, thoughts on the national team on itself is that I've already said it a million times, guys. You know, as an Italian who has never seen Italy at the World Cup, well, technically I have. I'm 2005. Technically I was 1 year old in the 2006 World Cup. Do I remember it? No. Do I count it? No. Was I lucid enough to enjoy football at 1 year old? No. So that doesn't count for me. And then I was alive, of course, for the 2014 Brazil World Cup, but that was one of the worst runs that we've ever had. I believe we lost in the group stages, and I hated football back then, so I don't count that World Cup either. Other than that, I've never seen my nation. So it's normal for younger generations who have never seen their country at the World Cup to care less and less about it. And this, in my opinion, is the problem. You know, the fact that the Italian national team has been so shit in past years is a problem, because due to the fact that not many of the younger generation have ever seen their country at the World Cup, you lose interest in it, which is why if you ask a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old even like me, would you rather see your club win the Champions League or your country win the World Cup? Everyone will say the club. Because we've lost this sense of... We're so used to us being shit that it's not a surprise, you know? But honestly, I see... Luckily, the majority of my friends, in fact, I'd say all of my friends agree with me on this, in the sense that we're shit. This country has got problems that not even God can save. But I get surprised by the amount of people, whether it's social media or whether it's people on Twitter who just tweet about football. I get surprised at the amount of people that have the decency, after we lost 4-0, no, what was it? 3-0 and 4-1 to Norway. So 7-1 on aggregate. Have the decency to say, oh, we're better than Norway. What the fuck are you on about? How can you possibly say that we're better than Norway if after you lost 7-1 on aggregate to them? That's the amount of people that I saw. Oh, we lost to a nation that only has Haaland. Like, okay, yes, he's their best player, no doubt. We all agree on this. But to say that Norway's better than us, full stop. And I think too many. This is a problem of Italian people. Italian people are too. I see this in tennis as well. You know, I'm a big tennis guy. I've always played tennis in my life. I'm a big Sinner guy, of course, because I'm Italian. But the amount of people that hate Alcaraz, that hate him, like brutally hate him, because he wins games against Sinner is idiotic. And that's just because these are people who have never watched a tennis game before in their life and now just feel like they need to be part of this wave of tennis because Sinner is the best player on earth because he's Italian. So, oh, he's Italian like me. I need to start learning about tennis. And they bring this football spirit into tennis of like, oh, Alcaraz, you fucking idiot. Oh, he's a fucking, I hate when he does that. He's a fucking idiot. The Italians are these. And okay, I do that as well. I'm Italian. But the amount of people that I have seen say that we're better than Norway, how did we lose both games, is embarrassing. You lost 7-1 on aggregate. You shut up and you move on. Oh no, because Norway. Oh, because Norway. Oh, because our Italian players play too much with their PlayStation before games. I mean, we're just shit. Accept the truth. This is a country full of problems on a football level. I'm not gonna link all of the problems and list them because I could stay here for years. But you know, it's not the manager. What can Gattuso do? What can he do? What can he do? International football isn't even about tactics. So what can Gattuso do? Gattuso's doing his best. The players, there isn't one world-class player in the team. There isn't. I mean, of course, we had this debate on the fan forum. Everyone has their own definition of world-class. Everyone does. But world-class for me is nowhere near the level of the Italian players. World-class for me, minimum world-class for me is Dybala. World-class for me is Dybala level onwards. Is there any world-class players in the Italian national team right now? Maybe just the goalkeeper. But, you know, can't win you games single-handedly. So there are no world-class players. We are a nation full of prestige. There is no more prestige in our football national team. The prestige of Italian sports is elsewhere. It's in tennis, with Sinner, with others, Musetti. It's in volleyball, both on a female and a male point of view. It's in athletics with shout out to Mattia Furlani. I know he's a big fan of the channel. Mattia Furlani is a beast. What do you call it? The discipline where you jump in the sand. He's a beast. We need to realize that our prestige is no longer in football. It's elsewhere. And the football system needs to copy what the tennis system, what the athletics system, what the volleyball system do. Because this football system is rotten. Is absolutely rotten. And if Italy were to qualify for the World Cup, we're not making out of the group stage. We're not making it out of the group stage. So, you know, when people go, it's embarrassing. Yes, it's embarrassing, but it's not embarrassing. The problems are very deep. Another thing that I saw, and then I'll end it because I'm rambling on too much. The other thing that I saw, post-Italy, podcasts, posts, tweets, Gattuso out. Italy sacked about 10 managers. 10 managers. Tell me where the improvements have been. It's not a question of manager. It's a question of system. And as a result, a question of players. Because there is no world-class player in the Italian national team. So, again, does that mean that we don't have the ability to beat Northern Ireland, Wales? Of course. That's why I say if we don't beat them, we don't deserve to go to the World Cup. But from there to say that we're amazing, that we're better than Norway, no. You lost 7-1 on aggregate against Norway. After that, both the home and the away game, I would shut up. Not say that we're better than Norway. Norway only has Haaland. We lost to a team that only has Haaland and then another 10 elves running on the pitch. No. There were at least 4 players that would start from that Norwegian team in the Italian team. Probably even more. So, yeah. Hopefully we go to the World Cup. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if anything because this national team is dead. Who's the luckiest team in the league till now? Who's the luckiest team in the league? Well, lucky. I mean, we're definitely lucky. We're definitely lucky. I hate how people are using Mancini and Cristante as scapegoats when Italy doesn't do well, even though they've been bright spots in a disastrous team. Is this lack of goals for Roma as a result of playing shit defensive football for 4 years in a row, and not low quality of our attackers? What do you mean? I don't understand. I disagree. Bastoni, Barella, and Donnarumma, I can buy the point. Donnarumma, I can buy the point of being world class. Bastoni is not world class. Bastoni might be world class with Inter. Even Di Marco. You bring Di Marco and Bastoni out of Inter into the national team. They're shit. They are absolutely shit. Absolutely. My friend is calling again. Again, but even Tonali, they're not players that win you games. There are no world-class players in the team. Right, I need to answer or otherwise this guy will kill me tonight. I'll catch you tomorrow with the press conference reaction. Hit the like, subscribe, 100 likes would be great. Let me know your thoughts about the developed topics and touched topics in today's video down below. And I'll talk to you soon. See you out.